那还有时间去16天？
可以，16天在这儿。
mic was muted. I'm gonna have to do this again, everyone. So sorry about this. Let's just switch back to our first section because I think it has been a mistake for us. Forgive me, I'm start to using this new studio, Okay. And we have some really friendly, nice comments are popping up on our comments area. So I'm gonna to start this over again. Okay. Hi everyone. This is Eiko Chang. Welcome back to another episode of iChongqing's channel. Joining us today is Xu Jingyang, the Chief Wizard of Pathea Games, former Microsoft Principal Development Manager, former Walmart CTO, and Yan Liang, the founder of Amileyuan Intelligent Technology Beijing company, also the Chief Project Manager of Humanoid Simulation Robot Test Platform Project, Chongqing Institute of Microelectronics, Beijing Institute of Technology. Welcome, gentlemen. As you can see from the thumbnail on our channel today, we are going to talk about something with ChatGPT, an AI chat robot that has gained over 200 million monthly active users in 2 months, which is very impressive. I mean, it took about 9 months for TikTok to reach 100 million users, and it took about 2.5 years for Meta's Instagram. So this is really indeed very trendy and it went viral worldwide these days. I wonder, how did this happen in last year? I mean, in November, some press company in the US adopted AI technology to create content, including the Associated Press, which bills itself as one of the first news organizations to use artificial intelligence, has been using AI since 2014 to write stories about cooperated profits and to use it in its coverage of sports events. That's what we just know these days. Since November 11 last year, the US technology news website CNET has quietly launched more than 70 news reports generated by AI technology. But before these trends, we've seen the rise of the Clubhouse, Remember, in 2021, everyone was craving for an invitation code to get in this website to use that. And so what's new about this ChatGPT? I want to know. I'm going to ask our guest to introduce themselves firstly. Can you do that for us, Mr. Xu?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Jingyang. It's nice to meet everybody in the chat. If you have any questions as we go through this, go ahead and ask them. We'll try to answer them as much as possible. So I have been in the software industry for more than 20 years. I started writing code since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
And then and my first job out of college, I graduated from Cornell University. My first job out of college was at Microsoft, and I worked on Microsoft for 10 years.
Wow.
And after that, I joined various startups. So 3 of those startups have gone public, actually. And then my last job before joining as the Chief Wizard of Pathea was the CTO of Walmart China. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
But we were informed that you also founded some companies in this field, and that you didn't mention, but maybe you can share some insights about this industry later for us.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Xu. And what about Mr. Yan? Can you briefly introduce yourself and your career for us?
My name is Yan Liang, and I'm the founder of Technology Beijing company. I'm mainly engaged in the research and development of humanoid robots. Over.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. Mr. Yan is connecting with us from his studio, and we will get back to him later. So this is my first question, since I want to know about this basic information and how to get started on worldwide on this industry, on this AI industry, I believe that we all agree that this this website didn't come out occasionally, right? There must be some stories behind its background, behind its roots. So how did you know about this website, and when did you start to using the ChatGPT?
I think, well, I mean, just to be clear, right? Humans have been researching artificial intelligence for probably 100 years now, right? But it's just recently the technology has gotten better and better. And then there are some very notable improvements, advances, right? So the technology has been advancing, but not to a degree where it's usable on a wide scale. And I think what you're seeing with ChatGPT is that it's becoming usable in a wide scale. When I was at Microsoft, for example, we worked on speech recognition, right? Computers being able to recognize how you talk, right? So remember, maybe 5-10 years ago, that technology was not as good as that you would want to use it every day, because a lot of times it's inaccurate. But today you can imagine a lot of scenarios where you just talk to the computer and they just recognize it. It's becoming more and more natural, right? And the reason that ChatGPT has gotten such a wide adoption is because simply the answers it's giving you are a lot more accurate and human-like than the previous generation of AI. We call AI language models, right? So previous iteration of ChatGPT made by the same organization, OpenAI, is called GPT-3. Now, that was known in the sort of, if you're in the technology community, people were using it, but not as widely known to the general public, right? But since ChatGPT came out, and then it was able to answer so many questions in ways that you wouldn't expect that a non-human would be able to answer, and that's why it gained so much popularity, I would say. I started, probably a month and a half ago, to start trying it out for different things I was doing. And I was, it is a magnitude of better than what previous iterations in AI technology have been able to do. And I do expect it to improve significantly as well. As we can see probably in today's session, there are some things that it can do really well, but there are other things that it's not able to do very well as of yet.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to dive into, to find out what's the advantage and what's the problem of it. So how can we improve that by using it over and over again?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So how about you, Mr. Yang? Since when did you start to use to get to know or use this ChatGPT?
The host Chen, I want to use the ChatGPT right now. I want to use the ChatGPT injection with a humanoid robot. Humanoid robots can use ChatGPT style models, such as OpenAI's ChatGPT, to assist with a variety of tasks. Here are a few examples of how ChatGPT can be used in conjunction with humanoid robots. The first one is natural language processing. The second is dialogue generation. Third, I think, is the question answering. To use the ChatGPT connection with a humanoid robot, the robot would need to be equipped with appropriate hardware and software to process and transmit the data required for the ChatGPT to function. Additionally, the robot's software would need to be integrated with ChatGPT in order to send and receive data and respond to user inputs.
Thank you.
over
Also,
the host chain.
thank you. You also answered my former question before we get started about, I asked about this, how did this humanoid robots adopt this language chatting function? And Mr. Yan just answered about this technology questions. Thank you. And I have the other questions. Can you please explain us from very professional perspective, how did it works about this chat GPT? I mean, what's the core technology of this robot?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have probably a lot of non-technical people in the audience, so I'm just going to try to explain it as non-technically
in a plain way.
as possible, right?
Yeah.
So, so the way it works is, you know, you can go on the internet, and you can do a search, right? And there's a ton of millions and millions and billions of documents on the internet. So essentially what ChatGPT is doing in the background is it took sort of all of those documents on the internet. That's a collection of human knowledge, if you will, right? Of any time, right? And it took the text of all of those documents and it created what's called a language model. Right? Yeah. Okay. So that's what a language model is. Just it took all of those text and it created an AI, right? It took all the text, extracted all the patterns out of the text, and then it formed a model about, okay, what should I say? How do humans talk, right? Well, which words come after another set of words, right? Yeah. You know, what are good answers to certain questions, right? And it's really just, and it learned from all of those documents, and then it's able to create answers to the questions you ask based upon what it understands from the billions and billions of words that it took in, right? Yeah. We can ask you ChatGPT about
how did it work?
How does it work? That'd be interesting.
Me, ditto. So, what is required to develop and maintain this technology? Like a huge database, like huge
database,
algorithm system,
huge servers. So computing power is super important, right? So think about every time you type something in the ChatGPT, there's computers up in the OpenAI's cloud. Actually, it's a lot of ChatGPT is run inside Microsoft servers. So it's Microsoft cloud servers. There's probably hundreds of thousands of them. I'm not sure, maybe tens of thousands of them that is actually processing those inputs, putting into the language model. Remember that language models learn from all of those information on the internet, and then it comes back and spits out the answers for you, right? So obviously to build it, it took many years of research and hundreds of researchers and engineers, right, just to build the model. But in order for it to be running right now, there are hundreds, thousands of servers running on the cloud in order to answer the questions you're throwing at it.
Yeah, no wonder like Microsoft invested over $10 billion on this,
at least,
to use it against Google, right? To use it as a new weapon search engine. It's really interesting for searching industry. And how about our next topic? Mr. Yan just answered this, so we just skip that. And what do you guys think of this social advantage or this technological advantage of this ChatGPT in terms of public application?
Well, I mean, I've been using it to try out all kinds of different things that would be normal, be done by a human today, and then to see if it could, do it just as well. And the conclusion I've come to is that I don't think anyone needs to be afraid of ChatGPT like taking away their jobs, but it will make certain jobs easier to do. So if you were maybe, and your job is to write marketing material, right, to put out as ads, right? So you could ask ChatGPT to give you like 10 or 20 different ways to talk about the product, and then you can choose between those or make simple modifications on the answers that it gave you, right? There's been reports, real estate agents, they're in the US, they're just using ChatGPT to talk about the in a very professional or attractive way the real estate listings, right? So I think there are a lot of applications where, especially where the goal is to generate content, right? Where ChatGPT will help speed up the entire process.
Yeah, the efficiency.
And add efficiency, right? I think there's some real applications there. That's one. So any sort of areas where the work is to generate, especially textual content, right? There are potentials for ChatGPT to come in and be assistant to those types of areas.
Yeah, that's really the idealist side of this website, of this technology, and we hope we can dig into this by using our talking, our conversation. So here comes my most concern today. Do these answers always tend to be correct? We are going to talk about Chongqing with it, because what I'm trying to do in this city is to promote this city to the world. I know there are few people in the world know Chongqing, know about there's a city in southwest of China, but we tried our best to do it, and we wanted to present this city better. We wanted to improve this city better by building more connectivity on the internet. So I think this will be a good chance for us to get to know, what is this robot is talking about Chongqing. Okay, so let's see what's going to pop out. I'm gonna put this to our screen. This is the website of it. We are building a new chat, and we are going to get started.
Okay, let's see what this is.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna ask about what. I heard that if you use English, it will be faster.
The answers are better. And again, this is because, so the language model that I was talking about, that ChatGPT is trained from, is largely consists of English words.
Native speakers.
English words, right? So that's why it's better answering English questions.
Okay, we are typing our first question. What do you think of Chongqing? Okay.
It seems like we have a technical problem.
Seems like it.
Probably just have to reload it.
Yeah. It's fun because
there you go. It should be
yesterday
working now.
I just failed to enter because it says that there are so many users, and we just pay for it. We pay for the class service.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got this.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. What? Okay. Sorry about my nails. What? Do you think?
You got little butterflies on your nails. I just noticed.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with this. Shit. Sorry. Okay.
There you go.
What do you think of Chongqing? It's typing. Do you guys need us to read this for you? Because I think it's fun to read it by yourself. And also, while this robot is talking, is answering, we have some comments, and I'm going to say hi to our audience. Hi, Ken. Hi, Adventure of ZZ. Hey, guys, followers. Kevin, hi. Hi, Aaron. Hi,
Some
everyone.
Yummy Kitchen Direct.
Yeah.
Are they still in the chat? It's good.
Yeah.
Wonder what Yummy Kitchen Direct, what kind of yummy stuff they have.
Direct. Okay. You probably just follow us since we did our live stream in London last week. We did a cuisine testing show, Chongqing cuisine testing show in London live stream.
And Kevin
Yeah.
and Ken.
Hi, everyone. Glad you guys like this content, and remember to like and share and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Okay, we will get back to.
Okay, I think Yummy asked if ChatGPT is an app, right? So, yeah, I mean it's a website. So you can go to, I think the website is. You can just search for it on Google, just ChatGPT. You'll find the website.
Yeah, it's easy to use. It's not really complicated. So he or she just answered, as an AI language model, I don't have personal opinions or experiences, but I can provide information about Chongqing. Okay, do you guys need me to read this loud, or you guys just read it on the screen? Okay, I'm gonna have to read it. Chongqing is a city located
Go ahead and read it.
Southwest China, because I need to find out, is there any in the
I think you
correct-
should read it in the voice of ChatGPT.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
imagine
this is
your chat.
challenging.
You imagine your ChatGPT.
You can try it.
No. I'm not the host.
And it's one of with no emotion, with no feelings. with
Yeah, that's good.
robot
Yeah,
sound.
try
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
think I can do that because I'm a really emotional girl. It is one of the 4 municipalities in the country. It is a major economic and transportation hub with. I wonder, does it sound really like this? I mean, some robots are really improved and advanced.
Well, sure. Maybe we should ask Mr. Yan about robots.
Yeah.
That's what his company does.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Yan. Can we make those robots sound and look really like real human?
Yeah. I think the humanoid robots, just like a human, the robots, I think, such as OpenAI's ChatGPT, to assist with a variety of tasks. Here are a few examples of how ChatGPT could be used in conjunction with humanoid robots. I think the first one is natural language processing. The humanoid robots can use ChatGPT to process and understand natural language inputs, such as voice, commands, or written text. This could enable the robot to interact with users in a more intuitive and human-like way. I think the second one is dialogue generation. The ChatGPT can be used to generate text responses in real time, allowing the robot to hold conversations with users. This could be used in customer service or entertainment context. I think the third one is question answering. Humanoid robots can use ChatGPT to provide information and answer questions on a wide range of topics. For example, a robot equipped with ChatGPT could help students with homework or provide information about local events and attractions.
Here's an interesting tidbit about homework. So a lot of teachers have been getting homework from students that they think is generated by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT. So they just came up with a new feature. They have a AI detector, right? So you can take some homework or some document and put it and give it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will tell you
Which
whether
one is-
it was actually created by
Students or AI.
by AI. But it's gonna be a really big problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really big business.
Yes. Yeah, so that's a lot of things I think will be changing due to technologies like ChatGPT in the future, right? Some of the ways that we work or some of the things that we have to deal with right now will go away, but then there will be new kind of ways of working
Yeah.
or studying that will be completely different.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please continue,
Yeah.
Mr. Yan. But I
think-
still wanted to know. Excuse me. I still wanted to know how we could build the robots more human-like.
Yeah, what kind of voices does, for example, your company makes robots. Does it have voices? Does it talk? Do they talk?
The humanoid robots can speak. I think the ChatGPT is inputs, and the humanoid robot speaks. Use the ChatGPT to the ChatGPT in connection with the humanoid robots head. So the robot hear the humanoid and responds some actions. I think. Over.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want to add a little bit more to that, right? Because that's a field I worked at while I was at Microsoft, which is speech, right? So how do we make computers talk? And that was actually worked on the first generation of technologies that Microsoft had in this area we call speech synthesis, or you may have heard of, it's called text to speech. And so the latest iteration of technology is pretty amazing. A lot of, so you probably watch a lot of TikTok videos. A lot of the voiceovers in the TikTok videos, they're actually not done by humans. I don't know if everybody knows that, right? So if you sound like that really familiar sounding voice, that it's like it just sounds like every TikTok video is using that voice, that's actually what we call a text-to-speech voice. It sounds human. It has the same pattern, right? It's like, but it is actually it's actually a computer, right? So latest iterations of text-to-speech technology sounds just like humans, and you can take somebody's speech, right? So somebody can record you, Eiko, talking for 10 minutes. And then we can make a computer talk just like you. We're at that level of sort of speech synthesis technology, right? So that means you go so with all the deep fakes and the voice changing, who knows what we'll have in the future, right?
Is it the same thing that we applied in like Xiaohongshu, like TikTok in China, like Douyin, like when we creating content on this platforms, we have some audio things on it, and they kind of generate the different accent in China and everywhere this, right?
You can do that
it's
as
the
well.
Same technology, right?
Yeah, it's the same technology. Yeah,
so it's really fun.
Yeah, it's called
really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go back and ask ChatGPT some more questions.
Of course. And we have the second question. I'm going to just copy this and type into this website because I've got already. Okay.
I mean, on the previous question, I do want to make a note here, right? It said, and this happens a lot. If you ask ChatGPT any opinion, like say, what kind of food do you like?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It will tell you that it does not have an opinion about anything. Because
that's really
Yeah, because an opinion.
Want to be a neutral thing.
Yeah, it's not just neutral. It's just it doesn't have opinions. Because like as I say, I think also it's has to do with some legal limitations that they have. But they program it not to have to give any opinions to anything. Yeah.
This is something really interesting to mention about opinion, because I think it's like when it was experiencing some test or something. I don't have any own opinion. I just have some information to provide. I think it's something very different from human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, try asking it, what's your favorite food from Chongqing? It will tell you I don't have a favorite.
Okay, this also relates to our second question. Okay. Still have to refresh this.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. It means we have to start over again. Is it?
You just have to keep talking to it. If you don't talk to it for a while, it'll do that, right?
Oh, wow. So we don't want it to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, it's answering. Chongqing, located in southwest China, is a bustling metropolis known for stunning natural scenery, rich history, and delicious cuisine. Some popular tourist attractions in the city include Ciqikou Ancient Town, Eling Park, Hongya Cave, Jiefang Commercial Pedestrian Street, Chaotianmen Dock. When it comes to food, Chongqing is famous for its spicy cuisine. Some popular dishes to try include hot pot, spicy chicken, 水煮鱼, okay, fish cuisine, liang, pi. Okay, I think this is
Okay, let's say
our first problem, liang pi. Do you think liang pi is a local food? I think liang pi is something from the west side.
I don't know. You're a local. I'm not actually a local, but yeah, maybe. But maybe I know. So this is again. It is ChatGPT is trained from information on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody, let's say a Western reviewer who came to Chongqing at some point, and then he had the liangpi, for example, right? And he wrote an article on the internet and said, "Oh, the liangpi is great in Chongqing," right? Blah blah blah. Now, then it would be then ChatGPT might have picked that article up and identified liangpi as a local this local type of food, right? So this is kind of including fried rice, right? So fried rice maybe not so. It's not one. Well, you wouldn't be one of the top, unique dishes that you would be Chongqing.
Yeah, and it's also it comes also a really important question because there are so many food in China.
Well,
Western people cannot define which one is really exactly the one that represents this city.
Right.
It's really difficult.
And then here's a new trick: try to ask it to. Let's say you were a tourist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You come here, you got ChatGPT on your phone, you ask it this question. Now try to ask it to translate what he just said into Chinese.
Okay. Please translate.
Into how it does. Unless we have that network error again, in which case it would. Oh, okay, good, it works. It's thinking.
So the time it takes.
Yeah, it's running all of this. It's computing, right?
Yeah.
The computers are thinking, and it's running on the servers.
So it depends on how complicated about this question, about how rare that the information it just collect.
Well, I think it's mostly like how many people are using ChatGPT at the same time. If there are a lot of people using it, then it's going to be a little bit slower. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
But I think translation tasks are probably a bit harder for it to do as well, because it kind of has to understand the whole sentence and does everything else.
So would it be a chance for our mainland, our inland China's market to develop this kind of technology by using this language barrier? Do you think it's a opportunity for this because we are using Chinese?
Oh, you like say you want a Chinese version of ChatGPT, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are people who are working on it already. The what we call algorithms, it's really the secret sauce behind all these sort of AIs. The algorithms that it uses are well known, right? They're kind of published, right? The only difference is that you have to give it enough text or documents to train on, right? So if you give it stuff that's from the Chinese internet, then eventually you'll be able to train on things specific in the Chinese language. The other thing it does that ChatGPT has, different from previous iterations, is something called reinforced learning with human feedback, right? It's RLFH for short.
Wow.
So in short, what it does is so previous models, they just took everything on the internet and then used that to train ChatGPT, right? To train the model. But for ChatGPT, so for some of the answers that ChatGPT gave, there's a human person that sat there and rated the different answers to say, oh, this one's good, this one I don't like it, this one I don't like it, right? So someone sat there and rated all the answers. And then so that's what you have to do now in the future to train new types of AIs, right? So you still have to have a human to sit there and then
filter all this answers.
Maybe you have ChatGPT answer 10,000 questions or 100,000 questions, and then you have a human that says, and then for each question it answers, it will give you 10 different
perspectives,
10 different answers, right? And then you just rate. You have to have someone there to say this one's good, this one's not good, and after you go through that process, you have something like ChatGPT, right? So if you want something in Chinese like ChatGPT, somebody has to sit there, collect all the data that it needs. It's terabytes of data, right? So it wouldn't fit on your computer hard drive, for example. And then you would also have to hire. You probably need. They don't have to be super high skill level. They just maybe students or something, just to sit there and then mark each answer as correct or not, right? And after you do all of that, we'll have something like ChatGPT. So I suspect the Chinese version of ChatGPT won't be too long. And probably within a year or so, we'll see one that's kind of tuned for Chinese. I mean, there are a lot of people in China that are probably working on this already.
Yeah. And comments are mentioning Baidu, yes. And I've heard that Alibaba has already announced to jump in this industry recently. CNN said it was the last tech giants in China to jump in this field.
Yeah. Somebody said it's garbage in, garbage out, right? Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the garbage selector, or I guess what we call the human feedback, right? So if that will depend on how, but it's actually not too difficult to. I guess, but for certain topics it is, right? So for example, if you ask ChatGPT some very specific questions, right? Like, how far is the farthest planet from the sun in the solar system, right?
Yeah.
And then it gives you like 10 answers, right? You have to have somebody who actually knows how far it is in order to select the right answer, right? So this is why you see a lot of answers that ChatGPT gave, even in English, are wrong, because it thinks maybe it's 10,000 kilometers or 10,000 light years, right? I mean, it just comes up with it makes a guess and then tells you, right? If nobody's there to actually tell it what the right answer is, you'll find the most likely answer and give that, there are a certain percentage of times when that's actually wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Let's see how it did with the Chinese translation. You think it's good?
okay. What do you guys think about this? If you guys can read Mandarin, I think it's. What do you think? I think it's how to
Yeah.
say, not bad.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable, but it's not.
So there's a quick tip. If you're a tourist, right? You come into Chongqing, just you don't need to do your research beforehand. You just kind of, you're here, you ask ChatGPT where to go, and then, so for example, you need to tell a taxi driver where you need to go. Just ask ChatGPT to translate it into Chinese for you, and then and then the taxi driver can just take you.
And here comes a sharp one. Do you think this is better than Google? Do you think it's better than Google?
I mean, it does different things than Google, right? So, for example, Google, the answers on Google, especially the top answers, they're going to be accurate, right? But Google doesn't answer specific questions for you. You still have to go through all the pages and kind of come up with a decision or answer yourself to a lot of certain questions, right? So, for example, on Google, you probably see a list like this, right? On one of the pages. So in this case, it probably gives you the same types of answers, right? As Google, right? But if you ask it some more complicated questions, you'll find that it'll be able to answer those questions for you in summary. Versus if you go to Google, you have to go, do multiple searches, read multiple websites in order to come up with a decision.
Yeah. Also, the interaction is fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, there's some people who are addicted to ChatGPT. They're just kind of like sitting there all day and asking ChatGPT questions all the time.
Yeah. So what is our third question? If I live in Chongqing, what kind of job can I get?
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I wonder how it will do. You can start taking bets in the chat to see how accurate it is. I'm going to do that thing again.
Why does it happen?
It doesn't like being ignored. So, if you ignore it for a long time, it gets mad at you.
Okay.
Gives you an error.
That is really human-like. Okay, let's just get started again, and I hope we are connecting with it.
Oh, manufacturing. Okay.
Diversity. So
makes factories.
Yeah, for those who are not familiar with our city, Chongqing has some advantages, industry, technological, advantages in manufacturing, finance. Wow, it's typing a lot.
Yeah.
Education.
So.
Healthcare.
What do you think? Do you think that's good?
Tourism
does that make sense?
As a popular, Chongqing has a large number of hotels, restaurants. These are just a few examples of many types of occupations that are available in Chongqing. Specific opportunities available to you will depend on your education experience, and so this is very important because we don't go to a city and find every job that we wanted. We find it based on our experience, based on our education level, and it's really
So let's just add something. Let's add some information about our education level, and then see what it would say.
Let's say we have just master's degree.
Just master's degree? Does everybody have I don't even have a master's degree.
What do you suggest on this? I don't know. You can do this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, we are back and we are watching. Thank you guys for watching from iChongqing's channel. Wow. I haven't used in ages. I missed it though. What's pretty funny, StreamYard lost them. Yeah, I know. But we got lost because some of the connecting problem, but we solved it and we are getting back to us.
Yeah, I guess all those conversations, maybe we have to show them what we were doing in ChatGPT just now.
Yeah, we are asking about what kind of job can we get if we have a master degree of IT technology in Chongqing, and what kind of companies in Chongqing that can provide job opportunities for us. And we found that there are some problems in those informations. And that's pretty fun because that's what we wanted to, point it out about its kind of like force or disadvantages in this period of time.
Yeah. I think, for example, right, it looks like it named certain companies that it knows are in China. I mean, Foxconn, Huawei, these are Chinese companies.
Yeah.
But what is the presence that they have in Chongqing? It knows it has them, but it doesn't necessarily know details as to whether, those are big presences or not. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's not at that level. But think about if you were a human and you were like, okay, I want to work for Huawei and I'm in Chongqing, right? What kind of, is that a good idea, right? You would go probably to Baidu or something, and then you would go search for job listings for Huawei in Chongqing, right? And then if there are a lot of listings, then you could conclude that perhaps there's a big presence, right? So as you can see, so ChatGPT, the AI is not able to go through that logical thinking process.
So it doesn't have a logical thinking process.
Right, not to that degree, right? So in terms of following through that logic, right? Okay, so how do I tell if an employer has a big presence in the city, right? Mm-hmm. You would look for job listings, right? So that's a causal relationship, right? What
is the causal relationship?
The causal, you mean what's the definition of a causal relationship? A causal relationship is cause and effect, right? So some cause leads to some effect. That's called a causal relationship.
Okay.
Right? So for example, here a causal relationship is if there are a lot of job listings in a city from a company, that's the, that's a cause. I mean, it's not a cause. It's kind of like a logical reasoning, right? So if there are a lot of job listings from a company, that means that company has a large employer presence in the city, right? So that's I kind of got that reversed, right? The effect is they have a lot of job listings. The cause is that they have a big presence. So that's a causal relationship, right? So ChatGPT is not able to understand causal relationships to that level of detail, right? What it does know is have a lot of text and what is the probability that one word appears after another word, right? So it's using that data to kind of try to generate the answers.
That explains how this situation that we just came out, like you can dig in like level into another level on this.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. I think we don't have much time spending on asking more questions. So I'm gonna ask the last question about Chongqing for this robot about the future. If you can give me an answer about the future development of the city, then I'll get to know. Chongqing is one of the fastest growing cities in China and is poised for the continuing growth in the future. Key factors are presenting strategic location. Yeah, Chongqing located in the southwest China, and we have two rivers. It's really an important thing as to building an international hub city. Growing economy,
invest in infrastructure. Yeah, that's really important because when it mentioned about infrastructure, I think maybe it knows something better than we think about Chongqing because infrastructure is really important issue in Chongqing. Talent pool, yeah. Focus on technology. Yes. The future development of Chongqing looks promising with a growing economy, a talented workforce. I wonder, does it say it like this to every city? You know, every.
Well, we can try. You know, put a different name, a different city in there, and see if it says something different.
I'm gonna go with Chengdu. Okay. What about?
Let's say they have pandas. Chongqing doesn't have pandas.
Chongqing does have panda, but it's
Not as
not
many
a
pandas.
yeah, it's not a.
So the panda workforce, that's going to be an important differentiator.
Look,
Yeah, it says the
Okay.
same thing.
but
Let's see if it says anything about pandas.
investment infrastructure. So it does have a pattern to explain its impression and its answers
Yeah,
to every city,
yeah.
right?
But here's the thing though. Sometimes if you ask it more specific questions, it will tell you. So you could ask a question, so try this. What are differences between Chengdu and Chongqing in terms of I don't know what is this in terms of
Big cities, big municipalities, big cities in China.
what's the difference between Chongqing and Chengdu in terms of
Industry,
yeah, sorry,
typical presentative.
or in terms of strength for future growth, right? Strength for future growth.
Okay. Well, both Chongqing and Chengdu are cities in Western China with a lot of potential for future growth. There are some differences between the two cities in terms of their strengths for future growth. Location. Chongqing is located in confluence the two rivers. Further inland, yeah, economy. Chongqing has a more diversified economy. Chengdu has a more developed service sector. Major harmful tourism. Infrastructure, well-developed transportation network. Chengdu has a well-developed airport. Both cities are large pool of talented professions. However, Chengdu has a more developed education and research sector, innovation, positioning themselves as centers for innovation technology.
Yeah, so it says Chengdu has more people in the technology sector than Chongqing.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Yeah,
It's right.
yeah.
In this generation, I think mostly are really right information.
Right. So
about the
that's what I
specific-
find. So even though some of the answers are generic, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get more specific answers by asking more specific questions. It's you
need
want
to train.
you need to
get trained,
yeah
right?
you need to ask more questions, better questions.
If we keep asking more specific question on one, on one field, on one thing, let's say it's about the cities, right?
Sure.
On one field, would it be trained more, accurate or more?
Well, I it's
Formative?
while you're asking questions, it's not actually training it, right? It's think about it as a child, right? So if you want to get really a good answer to your question, you have to ask a better question.
So you want to improve yourself.
Yeah, you want to improve.
your
You have to like kind of think about the question that you're
think
asking.
deeper,
Yeah.
think more logical.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If you go on the internet, you search for prompts. These questions are called prompts.
Mhm.
So you search for prompts for ChatGPT and how to structure the prompts. You'll find a lot of people are researching this topic. They'll be, oh, here's a good way to get ChatGPT to, for example, write code for me.
Wow.
Or write a paper for me.
Yeah.
We can actually write. I've had ChatGPT write scripts for
Games,
YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do,
all
to
kinds
write
of
my
stuff.
script for my next
Yeah.
live stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So you can actually have it do that, but you have to you have to be able to ask the question to it, or create the prompt that you wanted to do in a way that it can understand it, right?
Yeah.
There's actually specific ways you can structure these prompts to get better results.
Yeah, and this even makes me feel better about using this, about adapting this, because I get more confident about this. It will improve us, improve ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think ChatGPT is an assistant, right? If you learn how to use it, you'll be more efficient, right? You'll be able to do your work more quickly, right?
Yeah, and here comes my last part of our panel discussion. I'm gonna remove this, and we are going to discuss something about this field. We don't have much time on this, so I've read an interview in 2019 about you just said the artificial intelligence is the next outlet. Has your thinking changed right now because all those new technology come out?
Oh no, it has not. No, I think 2019, we've come a long way since 2019. Before I tried ChatGPT, I thought we were maybe, the pinnacle of AI is what's called general intelligence, right? So basically, the AI is human-like. You cannot distinguish the AI differently than a human. I thought that was at least 50 years away. Well, after using ChatGPT, my timeline has shortened significantly. So I still don't think we're going to be there quite yet. But I would move 50 years away from to 20 years at this point, where we'd be able to generate AI that's virtually distinguishable from a human in most of all cases, right? So that's sort of my prediction for the future right now. Yeah.
And we really value your insight about it because you've been diving into this field for so many years. And Pathea Games is a story-based game company that provides players with an immersive experience in many targets overseas markets. We also invite Mr. Dan and the managers in the company to live stream with us to talk about the overseas markets. So how do you consider on bringing more AI technology to help the game to improve on the planning or development in Pathea Games?
Oh yeah, no. First of all, Pathea makes a lot of what we call open world role playing games, and we've had, especially our titles, My Time at Portia and My Time at Sandrock, right? Those are hugely popular games played by millions of players. Now, open world role playing game, you're playing as a character in the game. But there are all kinds of other characters trying to interact with you, right? I think in the future, right now, when you talk to those characters, it's pretty scripted, right? So it's you say something, choose from a list of 3 choices, they'll say something back, and it's back and forth. There's not a lot of variety, right? Yeah. So we're looking into the possibility of that all of these characters, they have their own personalities. Every day they say something different to you. Right, something interesting, and then so we're trying to see if we can get that kind of a dynamic to work. I'm pretty confident it's just a matter of time before we get there.
And how about yours field, Mr. Yan, what do you think of the development of the artificial intelligence in China or in Chongqing? Maybe you can explain this based on your experience by working about this intelligent lab in Chongqing with the Beijing Technology Institute.
I think for the future of the AI robot applications field in China, it is likely to see continued growth and development, driven by advancements in AI technology and increasement demand for AI-powered solutions in various industries. For example, the use of AI in manufacturing is expected to become more widespread, with robots being used to perform tasks such as assembly, inspection, and packing. In Chongqing, a major city in southwestern China, there is a growing system of technology companies and startups focused on AI and robots. The city has a driving innovation scenes and is home to many research institutions and universities working on AI and robots related projects.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. Thank you for expanding this cooperation project for us, and we can see the future of Chongqing to build. We do believe Chongqing has the soil and the advantages to build this field. And I'm reading those information that some views tend to claim that it will replace human in multiple industries such as programming, computing, law, media, services, education, like we just mentioned, transactions, and etc. And Mr. Xu just shared about his insights about this field. And thank you guys for joining us today and sharing these really, really important perspectives of yours for us. And I don't think I can make a fair judgment on this tech right now because I'm not really familiar with this. Today is the first day that I'm actually using it. And
Okay.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because we can see there are still a lot of work to do to improve this, to improve the database, or just like you said, to improve us, improve ourselves. But this might be the exactly important opportunity for more people to worldwide to know each other, like from this, because we type in those information. Since we are typing those information, then the people in the other places, they can get informations, you know, to build more connectivity.
That's right.
Yeah, and as human, we should have more faith in our creativity, feelings, institutions, judgment, and visions that can be combined with this AI technology to create more values.
Absolutely.
I think that's what I just see today on this ChatGPT. And thank you guys for watching the show. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. And I'm glad to have you guys here, to have you guys to make this conversation with us. And remember to like and share to our like and share this live stream video, and subscribe to us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, and also on YouTube. Thank you. This is Eiko Chang, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.